I'm not committed to my wife. I'm not. She's not committed to me either. You see, we, as autonomous humans with agency over ourselves, are committed to ourselves. And what we're both committed to is our connection.
God, I love that so much. I love that so much. Please go watch that. Follow her. She's one of my mutual. This is such an important message, especially for women. I want to actually go into how this is affecting my marriage. But first, I want to explain why this is so critical for women. We are conditioned not to be committed to ourselves, but to be committed to the person, usually a man. If you're a cishet woman who dates men, you are conditioned to serve him, to be committed to him, to believe in him. And they weaponize our hope. They weaponize our empathy and our belief that they are actually the person that they said they were when we were dating, which a lot of them are not. They're just lying. But then a lot of them change because marriage is like a finish line instead of a beginning of a new adventure with a teammate, not a servant. And so one of the things that kept me in an abusive relationship, even though I hadn't even dated anybody really until that relationship at the age of 36, what kept me in it, besides, trauma bonded and like being climatized by like the best eating I'd ever had, which is how, every man who's abusive is usually really good at eating. Y'all got a new hat. I love this hat. So there's really all kinds of things that kept me in. But not one of those reasons was love, because I never loved that man. I never loved that man. I was codependent, like chronically codependent. That's what I was. I was looking for a fourth or fifth act of this play called Childhood Trauma. Keep it going. I was all kinds of things. Limerence, but not love. I didn't even know what love was until I met my husband. And then I was like, oh, this is different. So one way that we can really help women avoid abusive relationships is to teach exactly what she's talking about. Commitment to the relationship, but more importantly to ourselves. Okay? And the reason why this is important, that my commitment to my marriage is what led me to start getting serious help for all this PTSD that came up once I was in a safe relationship. All the ghosts of trauma past go boo as soon as I was in my first real, safe, healthy relationship. My husband is paying the price for all the things that men did to me. And at a certain point, I started to see that it was really affecting his mental health. So I had to get help not only for myself, because that's what's best for me, but because of my commitment to our relationship. Because I started to see how much he was getting secondary trauma from all of this PTSD that I was experiencing as a result of finally processing these big T traumas from all the men before. And then the same thing came up when he left his job with burnout. And burnout, I believe, is basically like leaving an abusive relationship. It's just with your boss or, a company instead of a romantic relationship. And even though it's different, it's a lot of the same pattern. And so, it's taken him a while to recover from that. And at a certain point, we had to have some hard talks because him not taking care of himself was starting to impact me. And that's not fair to me, right? It is absolutely our responsibilities as teammates. Everything that I do that is not healthy for me is going to impact him. Not just me, him. No, it's torture to watch someone you love not do okay. Now, obviously, nobody is just doing great all the time. Or, it's like, valleys and mountains. But in general, the number one rule of our relationship or principle that we live by is that our commitment to each other involves being equally committed to ourselves, our truth, and not taking for granted someone else's support while we're going through hard stuff. So if you're in a relationship, especially if you're a woman dating a man or married to a man under patriarchy, and you are not equally as committed to staying connected to yourself and living true to yourself as you are to that relationship, it's not going to end well for you. And if you are committed to him instead of your connection and the relationship itself, you are not his partner. You are not his teammate. You are a doormat. And because of the way this is all set up, it's really not going to end well for you. And you don't even love him, because you can't love somebody if you don't even exist. And he certainly doesn't love you if he can't even see you. Losing yourself in a relationship is how you get killed out here. Please be careful.